There are three major reasons that a lot of Airbnb hosts fail. And if you want to become a few of the successful hosts, then you are going to avoid them. So let's get into this. Hello and welcome back to my channel where we really talk about everything property, specifically Airbnb, and understand how you can go out there and build a successful Airbnb business. And in this video, we're going to be talking about the three main reasons that a lot of people who try to become hosts in the sector actually end up failing. So let's get into them. The very first one is professionalism. Now, why do people fail as Airbnb hosts due to professionalism? The simple reason is there is a low barrier to entry. It's not actually that difficult to get into this business. You don't need a skill set, you don't need a qualification. You just need to understand how to acquire properties from landlords or investors. And then you put them onto these platforms, which act as your marketing tool, and you're able to get guests coming to stay at your property. And as a result of that, people think they can just come in there, get a property, list it on these platforms and start to make money. But the reality is the marketplace demands more. The marketplace demands quality, and the marketplace pays you on those gradations. So the better your quality, the more they're willing to pay you, or the more they're willing to actually come to your property. And the less it is, the less they're willing to come. So what you typically get, for example, people coming in there and they're just taking pictures with their iPhones, for example. The room's dark, not very good lighting. And, they don't understand that actually, people buy with their eyes first. Just like when you look at a menu and you see, the way they've taken the pictures, the food is glistening, it's shining, it looks delicious. That's why you say, I've never had this meal before, but it looks amazing. I'm going to go for that one. It's the same way when people are scrolling through the Airbnb, scrolling through booking.com, they see your listing and say, that looks terrible. It looks dark and dingy. I don't want to be in that property. So you know what? I'm going to keep scrolling until I see the one that looks aesthetically beautiful. You've got loads of lovely pictures. That's where I want to be. So that's the very first thing, professionalism, understanding that this is a business. You have to be professional. You have to be competitive. You have to look at what everyone else is doing and ensure that you're keeping up to standards, if not above. So that's the very first one. The second reason why a lot of Airbnb hosts fail is communication. This is so key. It is so important because look, a lot of people think that the Airbnb business is a property business, and it really isn't. It's a people business. More specifically, it's a customer service business. It's hospitality. It's all about how you're treating people, how you're making people feel. And a lot of that comes from communication. And when I say communication, it doesn't just come from speaking with the guests. Communication in regards to how you've listed your property, the type of language that you've used in your listing, how accurate and how true you've listed your property. Because, hey, you might say all these glorious and wonderful things about your property. Someone turns up and it's terrible. That's going to put them off because what they're expecting, their expectation doesn't match the reality. And what does that mean? It means bad reviews. So the way you communicate, but then it also then comes to how you communicate with your guests. When they're asking you questions before they arrive, a lot of these questions are going to be really generic, really basic questions that perhaps your listing has already covered. And you're thinking, why are you asking me these questions? The reality is it doesn't matter. You've probably heard that saying, the customer's always right. It's not true. The customer isn't always right. All that matters is you have to treat them with respect and you have to just assume and play the role. It doesn't matter whether you know that they're right or you know for a fact that they're wrong. It's completely irrespective. It is irrelevant. You just have to do what makes them happy because we are in a customer-centric business. This is the hospitality business about treating people well and making people feel good. And a lot of hosts just don't get that, and that's a massive, massive reason why those hosts end up failing. And then the third, by no means the least, should I say, is the listing optimization. Understanding pricing is so key in this business. If you price incorrectly, you end up losing a lot of business. And this is the reason why a lot of us end up going out of business. So for example, I'll give an example of what people tend to do. So typically, maybe they put their property onto these platforms, whether it's Airbnb, Booking.com. Perhaps they're not getting any bookings coming in. So they drop their price. which now makes them a little bit more competitive in the eyes of the customer. But as a result of that, they're not actually profitable. So that's one way to go. The other way to go is to just look at the marketplace, and because you're not making any money, you say, okay, you know what, I'm only getting, 5 bookings a month or 10 bookings a month. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to just increase my price. So for those bookings that do come in, I'm as profitable as possible. That's also an erroneous way, because that's going to stop people booking with you, because guess what? We're in a capitalist system. The market decides. So if your pricing is way up here and there's other prices around here, and the property looks exactly the same quality as yours, then they're just going to go for the ones here. They don't care or know whether your occupancy is low and that's the reason why you're increasing your price. They don't care about that. All they care about is what's the market charging, and that's what they're going to go for. Now, these are the 3 key principles that a lot of hosts don't really tend to abide by, or don't follow or play the game, and that's why they end up going out of business. But if you're able to understand these 3 key principles, master them, become really proficient at them, work on becoming the best at them, then I promise you, you have the opportunity to build a really, really successful Airbnb business. And there's never really been a better time than right now to build and grow your very own Airbnb business. The market time is now. There's a lot of landlords who are suffering, a lot of people who want to get into the property business, understanding how they can actually make a profit. With interest rates going way sky high, just renting the property out to a traditional tenant is no longer as profitable. So they're looking for other models. So if you understand, how to really become profitable, how to run a proper business, going back to step 1, professionalism, if you understand how to run a proper business as an Airbnb host, then there really hasn't been a better opportunity than right now to really start, scale, and grow your business. And if you do want to do that, there is a link below where you can have a conversation with my team. I've helped many, many students start, scale, and grow their business up to this point. So if that's something that interests you, we've got an academy, where we really help you from the very inception of registering your business all the way through to when you secure your first property, you get your first guests coming in, and when you start to actually scale that portfolio as well. But outside of that, if you have liked this video, then make sure to like the video, give us a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel, because I'm always releasing more content like this to help you build and grow your business. And outside of all that, I will see you on the other side.